everyone. This is me, Jyotika Bedi, founder of Happiness is Love. And I have with me my very, very dear friend, Astha from Reboot Wellness. Welcome, Astha.
Hi, Jyotika. Thank you so much for having me and thank you for doing this conversation today.
Thank you for always being a flag bearer of what we stand for, which is spreading more happiness, joy, and well being in the world. And I think after the COVID outbreak, we have all learned the importance of the work that we do. And today we thought that together we're going to decode this word respect, especially respect in parenting. So Asta and I keep having these fun conversations where we are curious to really understand what this word really stands for. What does it mean to you, to me? Why do we need to understand the importance of respect from a parenting perspective and how we can demonstrate respect to our children? So I'm going to now ask Astha, what are her views? What is respect to you? Is it a myth that it is only one way because you're the parent? Astha, over to you.
This brings back so many conversations that I've had with my family. And the amount of fights that I've had growing up with my parents, where and other family members, where we kept arguing that, no, like I feel disrespected and everything, because while we were growing up, a lot of, I'm not saying anybody disrespected us, but there was a lot of emphasis on respecting only the adult. So, even if you Google the word respect, the first thing, those extension words that come, they often say respect your elders. And that's what we've learned, right? Always respect your elders, always respect your elders. And I still remember, upon becoming a therapist, upon becoming a psychologist, the first time that I heard that, no, you need to respect everyone. It was such an alien thought. Like physically, I felt that this thought is so alien. And I remember telling, a few parents and a lot of people in my sessions that even if it's a child, you need to respect the child. You need to respect their privacy. You need to respect this and you need to respect that. And I think that is the emphasis of the word respect, that for any family, for any society to thrive, to grow, it needs to possess this behavioral code of respect. It needs to have, and I think families need to promote the idea of uh, cooperative, appreciative respect amongst family members for everyone, purely because you are human, irrespective of your age, irrespective of your gender, irrespective of your status within the family group. Just the very fact that you are there, you're a person or you're a living being, it demands, respect. And I think by respect, what people often mean is, is goodwill and competence. But I think goodwill and competence can be certain factors for respect, but not all. Respect has to be slightly more deeply integrated. It needs to mean a lot more of regard, a lot more of value. That I think when I respect someone, I essentially put across to them that I value you. I may not always agree with you. I may not always believe in what you're saying, but I still value your existence as a human being. And
Beautiful.
that goes, without like that goes across boundaries of age and everything. But I think age is something that we struggle a lot with in family systems,
Right.
that elders need to be respected. Dadi ji hai ya nana ji hai, elders need to be respected. Guests need to be respected. And I think what that does, Jyotika, also is that it allows people to get away with a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
Because out of respect, we will not say anything. So
Correct.
then
But
the boundary,
exactly.
exactly. And then the boundaries get very, very blurred, right? And
Correct.
we know that any healthy relationship requires a healthy boundary. And I think one of the strongest boundaries that need to be set is for respecting oneself also, of course. I need to respect my own self, my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own
Right.
wishes. I need to value my abilities, value my worth, value my existence and presence in this world,
Right.
along with doing the same to another person.
Right. Absolutely. Beautiful. Very well explained, Asa. And your thoughts resonate with mine because respect is an abstract term that people define basis their own experience. Fair enough. But as
Right.
parents, we want you to pause and just think, what does the word really, respect, really mean to me? What does disrespect mean to me? Because if I'm not cognizant as a parent, obviously I'll not be able to model that to my children. And
Yeah,
ask yourself, where, what kind of interactions do you have with your child?
yeah,
And again, from teaching our toddler to use the toilet to actually teaching your teenager how to drive and be independent, all these interactions in between will demand you to respect your child. And again, gaining your child's respect is your prime responsibility. And this
absolutely.
requires work as the parent.
Yeah,
And that's why we made this video, to help parents. No judgment. I am guilty of many ways of disrespecting my children. However, the idea is to spread awareness, to raise parents' level of consciousness so that they can just stop, pause, self reflect, and see where they can self correct.
yeah.
So, yeah, thank you so much, Astha, for that one.
And Jyotika, I was just thinking that while you were talking right now, it just struck me that for a lot of parents is such an alien concept,
Mhm.
that they need to respect their children. So my question to you, because you work with so many parents, my question to you is, Jyotika, why do we need to respect our children? What is the
Yes,
need?
right. So, parents, first, let me just establish that the parents who don't respect their children don't generate it. While we parents demand and command respect by sometimes being disrespectful, what do? We actually end up being oxymorons, because respect is in the giving. Respect comes from respect. Respect begets respect. So, as a parent, it is my prime responsibility to first give respect. Only then can I expect it.
Hmm.
So it's very important for parents to understand that we sometimes use being sarcastic with our children, sometimes inadvertently putting them down. I'm guilty of the same. So as a parent, I'm speaking to a parent, not making any judgments on any parent. Sometimes we use disrespectful ways of, let's say, being sarcastic, being demeaning, using mean-spirited remarks which are hurtful to the child. And all I'm urging the parents to do is that even when we do this, it's okay to go back to your child. It's okay to own up and acknowledge to your child that you made a mistake, you were having a hard day. When you do that, you demonstrate to your child that you're human too. You make mistakes. Sometimes you are disrespectful to the child, and the child will start to model this when he or she is a teenager and you're going through those turbulent times and you're headbutting and there are power struggles and parental ego comes in. Those are the testing moments. Those are the defining moments where if you model this to your children, they will mirror you, they'll come back to you, they'll stop, they'll pause, they'll think that I think I spoke to my mom in a disrespectful tone, or my body language was a little harsh. I should not have rolled my eyes at my mom or slammed the door at my dad. Because what is the goal? The goal really is to build that respectful bond, because parenting is about the respect. So I just want
Absolutely.
to example from my experience that sometimes teenagers become a little sassy. And when they become sassy, they do indulge in disrespectful behavior, which is again subtle. Those are the testing times. Those are the times when parents need to go back to their child and say, I'm not okay with the way you talk to me. I would request you to speak to me in a more politer tone. And I can still be a kind parent by letting my child know that. And only if I let my child know that you're not okay with that behavior, will the child know for sure what not to do. Because if a child is given permission and allowed to be disrespectful at home, it's recipe for disaster. This is how the child will act out with the world around him or her. So
Sure.
for parents, I want all the parents who are seeing our video today to understand that it is our responsibility to lead with our example so that our children feel heard, they feel valued, they feel loved, and they feel the respect. And it starts with you as a parent giving it. Anything you'd like to add
Absolutely.
to that, Astha?
While you were talking, I was just thinking that, if I were to tell, how would I, like you absolutely rightly said that, how do you, I mean, if you want to demonstrate respect, you need to model it, right? You need to give it to receive it. I think parenting is so much about the whole idea of parenthood. What are your values as a parent? I mean, your
Correct.
individual values are, of course, there. What are your values as a parent? What do you what do you have in your mind as a part of your parenting process? Because that's going to define a lot of your parenting style and
Correct.
the impact that you have on your child. And modeling, behavior is, of course, one thing. It just reminds me of this conversation I was having with my mom. I remember while we were growing up, my sister and I, when we were used to be in school, and when we didn't perform very well in school, my mom would often tell us, oh my God, like, you guys don't study. And it's a very regular thing, right? Like parents get mad that, you don't study, and which we
Yes.
weren't. You're so
Yes.
busy playing, and, you don't study. And at your age, we used to do this and we used to do that. And I'm sure all of us have heard those stories
Correct.
generation after generation from our
Correct.
parents at their own level. And my mom is like, you need to be thankful that, we're doing this, and, we're giving you so much, such wonderful education, which I am thankful for, definitely. And, when we grew up, and when we finished our schools and we finished our colleges, and we were both of us were well settled in our work, I remember having this conversation with mom where my mom actually admitted, and she said that while she was in school, she was not a very good student. And I was like, then why did you lie to us all this time? She said, because I needed you to believe that you are capable of doing something, and this is something of value and importance to your life.
Right.
So, in a way, I mean, it's funny, but I'm still thankful for the fact that there was always this hope. And I think showing or demonstrating respect to your children is about giving. So I will use that acronym GIVE, right?
Right.
Where I
Right.
think G stands for being gentle.
Hmm.
Even when you're angry with them, it's important to use kind words,
Right.
right? We often hear parents using words that are, that are full of labels, that you're an
Right.
idiot, or you're this, or you're that. And which is where we forget that we are actually disrespecting and impacting our child's concept, self concept,
Correct.
when we
Right.
are, when we're using words like this. So for us is to be gentle, to handle children with very, very soft hands, soft yet firm hands,
Right.
because the balance between discipline and understanding has to be, made. Then I would stand for, interest. I think one of the
Hmm.
most important ways of demonstrating respect to your child is to show interest in their life,
Correct.
and in each aspect of their life. A lot
Right.
of things, and especially when children are growing up, I've noticed that a lot of parents focus on the larger, or show interest in the larger aspects. Marks kitne aa rahe hai,
Correct.
that's of a lot of interest.
Right.
Are you in a good social circle? Like, you don't have any bad influences. That's of interest. Then when the child grows up, then the interest becomes the colleges that the child applies for, or
Right.
the future, the
Correct.
career. So these are
Right.
like broad categories of interest that parents have for their children. But I think even for daily basis, even
Hmm.
on a daily basis, for smaller things, about the child, about get showing interest in their day, like how
Hmm.
was their day, what has impacted them, especially now while we're going through a pandemic where a lot of emotions for children are getting impacted also. So showing interest, that and giving that, that sense that your feelings and your emotions are valued, right?
Right.
Everything that you're feeling and everything that you're emoting is of value, and we're going to talk about it now.
Right.
Where we put the value is, of course, upon us and how severe the situation is, but that
Right.
interest is very, very important. you know
Very
uh, Interest in the fact that they are growing up, interest in the fact that they have interests. So
right.
like, if even if you think that your child's hobby is, well, it's not a lot of fun, even if it's coin collection, but
Right.
showing that kind of interest is important, because that's adding to the child's own self-respect,
Right.
right? Because we're feeding. then
Correct.
is then is the V in the give stands for validating.
Hmm.
Validating your child's emotions, positive and negative. I'm not
Correct.
And there is a difference between validation and approval.
Hmm.
Validation is acceptance, that I'm accepting that you have this kind of and emotion, that you're angry, or you're frustrated, or you're being
Right.
anxious, or just you're being a brat.
Right.
This is acceptance. Does not
Hmm.
mean that I'm necessarily approving of your behavior,
Correct.
right? So there's a difference between approval and acceptance. However, acceptance and validation is important to demonstrate respect. That
Right.
I am going to accept the fact that my child is not perfect, and neither do I want my child to be perfect. I
Mm.
accept the fact that my child has certain, sort of weak points, such as my child gets very irritable when, when he's asked to share. I need to
Mm.
accept that, and I need to explain that to my child.
Correct.
If I keep rejecting my child on the basis of his unhealthy behavior, uh,
Right.
or quote unquote bad behavior, I don't like the word bad at all, but unhealthy behavior, inappropriate behavior, then
Right.
I'm not validating his or
Mm.
her feeling, because whatever
Right.
the behavior is has something behind it. There's a reason for it.
Right.
Whether it's a natural reason or an unnatural reason, we don't know, but there is a reason for it, and that reason needs to be acknowledged. So that's the V part. And then the E of the give is being engaged with your child,
Right.
and finding ways to work with them. Say,
Mm.
for example, age appropriate behavior, like I do this with kids in my house as well, that I tell them that, can you help me with this, even if it's like a 3-year-old 4-year-old that I have at home.
Nice.
I have a 4-year-old nephew, and I often tell him, okay, can you get me a glass of water, can you help me pick up this plate, can you do this, can you do that, and the excitement that comes onto the child's face, right? That, okay,
Happy.
I'm also worth something, so much
Mm.
addition to their worth. So finding ways to engage with your children is very, very important. Also, rather than threatening them, it's important, or bribing them or punching them, or disregarding them, it's important to bring them to a level where they feel respected. So including them in your daily life is also engagement. Like, I
Right.
see that parents have this, okay, we are the parents, so we have this one parenting rule that we will follow, and
Right.
that's all that we will do. We'll just feed our children, make sure that they're well dressed and well read and they're finishing their homework. That's not all. It's very
Right.
important for the other thing to happen as well, that your child needs to be involved in your life also, right?
True. Very true.
I mean, how is your child contributing? And your child needs to know, how do they
Correct.
contribute to your life. It's so
Yes.
important for the child to know that, you know, um, it's like, this is what I mean, one is, of course, my parents love me, but this is my value in their life. This
Yes.
is my role in their family. And, because I specialize in family mental health, I work with a lot of families where I tell families that it's so important for you to define your roles within the family. And roles are changing, especially for children, right? At
Yes.
a growing age, they'll keep changing. So defining their roles. And also, I think being engaged also means a lot of your body language,
Right.
how you talk to your child in terms of looking them in the eye, talking to them when it comes to the language that you use, how you sit in front of them. A lot of times we stand tall in front of our children and point a finger at them and tell them. And like, in my house, pointing a finger is a big no. Nobody
Same.
can point a finger at anybody. Like, physically, we can't point a finger. So if we,
Right.
and I see this in my nephew, he's 4, and he's trying to do this, and then we tell him no. So he's holding his hand and doing like this,
Oh, sweet.
and it's great. But I think it's of great value, because our body language really impacts our subconscious mind and the way we think and feel. So these small things are also important to keep engaged with our children. So that's my acronym, GIVE, give respect to your
Brilliant. I
children.
absolutely love it. I'm also going to use it and probably put it as a placard in my workstation. It's so simply put. And again, these are gentle reminders that we all need as parents. And you've actually answered my question, how we can demonstrate respect by giving it on a daily basis. And I love the way you say that speak to them with kindness and love. You talk to them with kindness and compassion, and the way you look at your children, because all of this shapes who it is, how they feel about themselves, their self-worth, their self-respect, their self-concept. So again, it's very, very important for parents to understand that it is in these little moment-to-moment interactions they can demonstrate and give love to their children and make them feel valued and important. And again, like you said, it's so important to ask them if they are comfortable to, and it's okay for them to say no. This
Yeah.
is one thing that parents need to learn to respect their privacy, their space, setting healthy boundaries. Sorry, the phone is ringing again and again. This is my children calling me
Yeah.
because I did not tell them that I'm doing a video, but it's okay. I'll just message them that they need to call me later. Again, this is one way of showing respect to your children, that if they want to reach out to you, they can. But then you also as a parent need to set healthy boundaries and let them know that when you're at work, they need to not keep calling you or keep
And respect
asking
your
for.
time as well.
Absolutely. And a lot of parents struggle with this. And I can understand, because now everybody's at home, everybody is swamped with home chores and work and managing children. So I get that. So I want, Astha, just before we end this, and this has been such a beautiful exchange, what is your understanding of respect for all?
Oh, so many things come to my mind. I think respect for me is independence and
Mm,
allowance and acceptance.
mm,
Independence because I think respect means to be independent as a person,
mm,
being capable and being aware, being
mm,
empowered. So that for me is respect. Or it also means allowance and acceptance,
mm.
allowing myself to be who I am, respecting myself for who I am, and
Beautiful.
and accepting myself and those around me for who they are also. It's so
Right.
important because, especially in family settings, one of the most exploited forms of respect is privacy.
Mm.
So, understanding that, because I think that comes from independence.
Yeah.
Focusing on values and the values that you give to your children is very important, because that will help you trust them, and that will also help you maintain some privacy for them. Being
Correct.
private does not mean that you're not included or engaged in your child, and vice versa.
Right.
If your focus is on being private, then privacy wouldn't be a matter. Then you will respect the fact that my child has certain things that is appropriate for his or her age to
Right.
experience at their
True.
own level. So
Right.
for me respect is independence, it's allowance, and it's acceptance.
Fabulous. And if I was to reflect over my last 20 years of personal and professional experience, I've just come to one conclusion, that respect is a basic human need.
Absolutely.
It's a fundamental need for you, me, for everyone. And being respected only makes us more confident, it makes us more creative, and it has a huge impact on our society. And as parents, I think we owe it to ourselves and to the universe by just accepting our children for who it is that they are, even when they're different from us, even when you disagree with them. But respect is non negotiable. Respect in our relationships builds feelings of trust, safety, and well being. And I think receiving respect from others is important because it helps us feel more safe and express ourselves freely. So,
Yes.
having said that, I think we all understand that respect is for one and for all. It requires deep listening, deep empathy, and deep understanding. It is a life skill that can be learnt by one and all. Let's first start with the parents. Thank you so much, Astha. It's always a pleasure and my joy to have you in conversation with us. The fact that we both have the same cause of being committed to spreading more happiness, health, and well being in the world makes our journey even more exciting because we're in it together.
Thank you for
Any
having me, Jyotika. It's always you come up with these amazing nuggets of information and knowledge, which are so helpful for everyone. And chatting with you is just always such a pleasure. So thank you so much for doing this and for spreading this message of positivity around you.
Thank you so much. Lots of my love. Take care. Keep smiling, Astha. God bless
You
you.
too.